Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So, to recap the horrendousness of the DNC, I want to show this clip in particular of Gavin Newsom, who is the sleazy car salesman governor of California. He's the slick sly dog that was, thought he was going to take over the Democratic establishment, but then he was a good little boy, good little simp for the party and step aside so that Kamala Harris can enter in, swoop in, being this triumphant lady of criminal justice and being the black woman that the Democratic Party always desired. And Gavin Newsom goes on to Pod Save America, the other simp boy fan club of the Democratic establishment, and talks about how amazing it was that we're just able to do the switch so democratically. We just pushed Joe Biden out and brought in Kamala Harris. No one's the wiser. No one is critical. Not even people in the DNC wanted to comment on it. There was people there that were asking questions. Hey, how do you feel about having no primary, having no choice to vote in Kamala Harris? And they thought, well, there was a process. That's what they said. So listen to this. This is like, I feel like when you listen to this, it sounds like, a cult meeting. This sounds like something that, lords back in the dark ages would sit around the high table and discuss about, oh, how can we fool the peasants today so we can get away with our crap? Like, listen to this.
There's an intangible. It's different. How are you feeling about the switch? I mean, the switch. Now we went through a very open process, a very inclusive process.
There was a process.
I don't know if you know that. Yes, that's what I've been told to say. Yes, it was
Yeah, there was a process. Not a process in democracy, not an actual democratic method that people actually voted for the person that they want into office. No. They just threw them, Kamala Harris, told people to shut up and deal with it and go with the flow. And no one's the wiser. such a great process, the switch. We're the party that cares about democracy. Are we so hilarious? By the way, by the look at this set, this has been brought to you by, it looks like Men's Warehouse, because they're all wearing the same exact suit. Well, one of them's wearing a tie, so I guess that's he's the crazy radical in the group. Oh my god, he's wearing a tie. But listen to this. This is just disturbing. The party that screams the loudest about democracy's on the ballot. We got to vote for our freedoms. We got to vote for choice. This is what they're saying about your choice when it comes to a leadership role.
There's an intangible. It's different. How are you feeling about the switch? I mean, the switch. Now we went through a very open process, a very inclusive process. Bottom up. I don't know if you know that. Yes, that's what I've been told to say. Yes, it was.
So you notice right there, Gavin Newsom, you may have heard after he said that, that's what I've been told to say. So again, this proves my entire rhetoric about, politics and political parties, that none of the shit that they mention about democracy or voting in, or none of this matters, because it's people like Gavin Newsom, it's people at the higher up that have already made their decision, and you just have to bite down and deal with it. And that is not a democracy. That is an oligarchy. And no matter who you vote for, no matter if it's red or blue or green or whatever color party you vote for, nothing is going to fundamentally change because it's that deeply corrupted. Voting in this oligarch nightmare, the perfect analogy that I use is think of it as like your house is falling apart. You have rotting, ceilings. You got termite problems. You got beams that are falling off. You got, like, this house is a wreck. And yet they keep telling you every 4 years, hey, put a fresh coat of paint on it, and maybe this house could stay a little longer. Just put a fresh coat of paint on a house that's collapsing. And that is the entire Democratic That's the whole democracy in America. Is they keep fooling people. There's people in that party that are lining up to this like cattle going into the slaughterhouse, thinking that voting in Kamala Harris or voting in another person to fill that position is going to change anything. It's not. Nothing fundamentally changes. Even with Trump, I thought maybe that Trump's rhetoric and then Trump's getting in, maybe something was going to fundamentally change. It didn't. It didn't. The only thing that did change was the fact that Donald Trump thought he could control the military, thought he could control the intelligence agencies. He is the, commander in chief after all. But no, they want to assassinate him. They want him out of the picture. That's why they fundamentally hate him so much, is because Donald Trump, this political novice, got into power and thought he had control of things. But what the establishment wants people to understand, and Donald Trump to understand, that's why they're doing this, is to say that you don't have control. You don't have a say. You're basically worthless. And people that simp into this party, the people that are walking here with smiles on their faces while they're getting screwed 9 ways to Sunday, they are the sheep because they don't care. They're the people that are in this party, the delegates that attend the conventions and the rallies, they don't care. They don't care about the words they're saying. They don't care about the fundamental principles of the words they're saying. None of it matters. It's all empty, vague, pointless. And that's where you get Pod Save America and Gavin Newsom laughing their asses off. Can you believe we scanned people? Can you believe that there was no actual democracy at foot, even though we're the party that's supposed to represent democracy? It was such a great process, such a great system. It's like how kings and queens used to operate. And that's when America revolted against the monarchy. But now we have it. Isn't that so grand? Let's hear the rest of this.
Primary, I think that's what they called it.
It's a very, very fast blitz. I think it was a blanket primary, so you saw that.
30-minute convention.
Yeah.
Between a tweet and another tweet.
It's amazing how it happens.
Yeah, it's been amazing. But it is what it is.
It's amazing. It's so amazing. It's so fascinating that we're just able to swap people out just out of the whim, and people were just told to eat it. Yay! God bless democracy of America, right? God bless choices. God bless. Oh my God. And the fact that this is coming from an asshole in the navy blue suit there, or is that black? I can't even tell. The color may be a bit off. Wearing a nice watch. This is the slick car salesman that got rid of homelessness when the Chinese diplomat or the president of China entered into California. Homelessness was apparently solved when foreign dignitaries come into the country, but we can't solve it just on a regular basis. We can't solve it in general, that actually help California. He's not there to help you. He's not there to help anybody. That's why all these people that champion people like Pod Save America and Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and even the Republican establishment, they're all chumps. They're all goddamn chumps. Any of these people that walk in the convention thinking that this is some sort of miraculous demonstration that's going to change anything, you're basically the cattle that's walking into the slaughterhouse. You're going to get screwed 9 ways to Sunday, but you got a smile on your face because they said pleasant words. And this is exactly the point that I made since Joe Biden got elected. Because how is it that the guy who was polling dead last became the president? It's because there's no choice. There's no choice. The people voted Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders won all of his delegates back in the 2020 race. Back in 2016, he won all of his ridings, and They picked the worst person. They picked the loser to represent the winning of that primary. Only in American democracy could you do that. Could you do that in the Olympics if the guy came dead last? Are you going to give him the gold medal? No. Are you going to give the losing team of the NFL the Super Bowl trophy? No. Are you going to give the Toronto Maple Leafs the Stanley Cup for just attending? I mean, people will like that because Toronto Maple Leafs hasn't won a Stanley Cup since friggin' my parents were born. But only in American politics does the loser, the worst person imaginable, gets successful. And the person that actually helps people, the actual leader, the one that actually gives a damn, which now we know Bernie Sanders was fooling it. It was just a complete charade. But people that actually substantially want to become part of politics to actually change something, they get weaved out. And that's how you know all this is complete crap. I've said this many, many years that none of this matters. None of this, election or voting the right person or deciding the lesser evil. None of this matters. And the only reason I'm really covering it is because it's mainstream news right now. Like, obviously, the convention's in town. The election in America is 2024. Next year, it's going to be here in Canada. And, I have people saying to me, like, oh, we just got to do everything we can to vote out Trudeau. And then Canada will be saved. And I tell people that even if Trudeau wasn't there, is that going to change the actual parliament system that is so deeply corrupted that got us to this position? No. Doesn't matter if it's Pierre Poilievre, doesn't matter if it's the Green Party or NDP or even Maxime Bernier. It doesn't matter because the roots of the establishment is so deeply tainted in evil, in corruption, in malice practice that they don't care at this point. They don't care about anything that they stand for. Anything that they say is all empty gesture because they're all puppets of a higher evil organization. They're all brought to you by the worst people imaginable. They've already bought out your country. They've already bought out your democracy. So none of this even matters. And that's why they could sit there and giggle at the fact that we had a system in place. We always wanted Kamala, and we just got to coup Joe Biden now. Democracy. Such a great switch. God, they even cackle like her. Like, it's just horrible. And this is why I think people need to wake up to this. Like, I wouldn't even call it red pilling or blue pilling, or I'd say we need to exit the political parties, the Dem exit or the GOP exit, come together as working class people and realize that your entire system is all for show. It's all a circus. None of this matters. And we as people need to rise against this oligarch. We need to rise against the duopoly that is going to screw us no matter what. No matter who you vote for, no matter what your political differences are, no matter what, they're going to screw you. And this is how it is. Because they're not going after working class people. They're going after the white collar executives that live in cul-de-sacs. Remember when Chuck Schumer said that? Hey, for every blue collar person that we lose in Pittsburgh, we'll just go to the cul-de-sacs in upstate Pennsylvania. We'll just go to the Hamptons. We'll just go to the Richie Rich territories and buy up their votes. Because working class people don't matter to them. The people that fundamentally form this country and run this country and operate this country, none of that matters to them. These are sick, twisted individuals, and that's why they're able to gather in a room like a satanic ritual. They might as well just have a fire and wear robes and dance around chanting, obscene gestures because they don't care. They do not care about working class people. They don't care about fundamental policies. And the only reason they want to care about democracy and run this campaign, they don't even really have a campaign. Kamala Harris has nothing really substantive to run for, except for the fact that, hey, abortions are cool and Donald Trump is evil. That's all they have. And if they can't bring you something, if they can't offer something to the table, then what is the goddamn point of their support? What's the goddamn point of supporting them if they can't even offer you anything? But the people that still do it are deeply, deeply, deeply drunk on that Kool-Aid so much that they just don't care about anything. They don't even care that they are embarrassing themselves by doing this.